Hey, Vanna. Hey, Scapegoat. You have oh shit. That sucks, Scapegoat. That's rough. Hey, Uncle Buck. There we go. Feels weird that I didn't do my groceries tonight. Because it's Thursday. I usually do my groceries on Thursdays, but then tonight. Because I don't really need to do my groceries yet. I've still got some things, so. But it's weird, because it's, yeah. It's a weird thing. Anyways, I did end up finishing my bookcase last night. The screws, I'm pretty sure, still aren't all the way in. Like, there's the screws still aren't tight enough, but fuck it. No. No, I just sort of gave up. Are they in tight enough? Nope. Do I care? Fuck no. Hey, Jordan. I'll throw up a photo of it later. Got a bunch of fruit and Pedialyte delivered, but I just had chips and salsa instead. Been there. I've been there. So yeah. I'll throw up a picture of my bookcase later. I'll need to start digging around my boxes to figure out what books I want to put on there. Built it? Yeah, I finished putting it together. I was thinking of doing it. I was thinking of finishing it up on stream, but some of the remaining steps were kind of awkward. Like, would have been kind of awkward to do like on stream. Like getting the base onto it, I wouldn't have been able to do that on. Like I sort of had to put the whole thing on the floor for that. Less masculine while crying. Hey. Men can cry. Let men cry, Jordan. Hey, Brooka. Crying can be very masculine. Very manly. Good old manly cry. Oh, building, you mean? Less masculine while crying while building? Or like building is less masculine when crying? You don't? Oh, well, la-di-da. There's no crying in baseball. Hey, baby. We don't call them Pedialites anymore. It's minor attracted persons. Hey, Killface. That was terrible, Habibi. You should feel ashamed of yourself for that one. Let's not split pubes. Yeah, no one wants a split pube. Pubes with split ends. Lonely as the Mule. I also started reading Anzuelo. Enjoying it so far. Joe Mueller. Joe Mueller. You want to be a drug mule? I want to pet a mule. But not let it eat out of my hand. I don't think I'd want to let a mule eat out of my hand. Be like, yay. Its tongue would start licking my hand. I'd be like, yay. Hey, Breath. What's happening? I'm just giving some time for people to get in before I continue the game. I like to give like 15 minutes for anyone to join us. Those look like mashed potatoes. Yeah, I don't really know if it's supposed to be anything in particular. I think I think it might just be, like, clouds. Ready for dinner? Nothing yet. I will be having rice for dinner, Killface. They do look like the instant kind. Yeah, I can see it. Pretty sure they're just supposed to be clouds. Looks like a mule sneezed in the powder house. One thing I do find interesting about this game is how little world building goes into it. Like, they don't really explain... Hey, Buttercup. They don't really explain the world. Yeah, they talk about the fraction and the surface, and it's like, and that's pretty much, they just sort of leave it there. Now for 2 hours of me reading to you. I don't think honestly, I probably don't even have 2 hours left. I'd be surprised if I even have 1 hour left of this game. I probably could have finished last week, but I was just... It was Boxing Day, it's day after Christmas, I was tired, you know? Yeah. Alright. Get back into it. What are we playing next? I haven't decided yet. I'll give, once I finish this, I'll give the options for the next game. Right, so last time we rescued January and captured Trinette. And now we need to decide what we had to decide what we were going to do. We were going to have to send someone back to town to come collect Trinette. Instead, what we're doing is January is going to use his telekinesis to carry the carry a vehicle over here. Hey, Shani. While we keep an eye on Trinette. So Piper leads the way into the woods. As Key follows, they glance back at me before passing from view, and January smiles slightly as he, too, disappears into the brush. Also, we lost our hand. We lost our hand last time. Now alone, I turn to face our 3 prisoners. Looking down, my eyes pass over the stump of my wrist. Where was I going? Nowhere. Because Chantal was back in Canada, briefly, people were like, oh, they're totally going to move back in together. Oh, that's what's happening. They're moving back in together. Despite the fact that neither of us had ever given any indication that that was happening. It was people just making shit up. Yeah, Chantal, came back here to visit her family. Like, she came back here to visit her family. And everyone just... all the people who have nothing better to do than to speculate on what is happening in Chantal's life started speculating. Because that's what they do. It's how they make their money. The only way they can think of to make a living is to speculate on what's going on in the life of a minor YouTube celebrity. How thrilling. I don't get it. Anyway, after I am not even sure how long, I pull my eyes away, focusing fully on the game. Doing so startles me nearly as much, and I practically fall backwards. Trinette is staring at me, her increasingly unsettling eyes softly glowing. I meant Chantal. Chantal is a minor YouTube celebrity. Like, she's not even a major YouTube celebrity. She's a minor YouTube celebrity. Even in terms of, like, most YouTubers, very few YouTubers can really be considered major celebrities. But she's minor even by YouTube standards. To be, let's be completely honest. Even most people, who spend a lot of time on YouTube have not heard of her. Anyway. Trinette is staring at me, her increasingly unsettling eyes softly glowing.
Hello.
Hello, hon. Where's the others? They don't look to be in the tents. That is not something I need to explain to you. You are under arrest. That's fine. I understand. She scans her surroundings a little, noticing her immobilized henchmen tied to another tree. It seems locating them was her only goal, and she turns right back to me. I can't help feeling intimidated, even though she's tied up. I really am alone right now with her. Despite my uneasiness, I still feel a nagging desire to talk with her, like doing so will accomplish something. That is, of course, a bad idea, and yet the urge persists. Should we talk to the vicious bounty hunter who blew our hand off? To be fair, she wasn't aiming at us. She was aiming at a cop. Yes, she blew our hand off, but she was aiming at the cop. So, can we really be mad at her for trying to shoot a cop? Right? But she's so pleasant to talk to. She actually is surprisingly pleasant to talk to. When she's not aiming a gun at us. It's not that she's a bad shot, it's that we got in the way. It's we jumped in the way. Our world is a small group, yep. A small, mostly kind of pathetic world. The reactors, at least. I want to talk to her. I want to talk to the vicious bounty hunter who tried to kidnap our friend. And tried to shoot a cop. Yes, Buttercup? Trinette. She looks somewhat surprised on speaking with her again. It makes sense. I am surprised myself. Yes? I want to talk.
Oh?
Really? Even after all this? Yes. I see. What about? I paused for a moment to think. Despite my eagerness to initiate this conversation, I can't seem to figure out what to say. I am realizing that seems to be something I do quite a bit. We've eaten your food and packed away most of the rest for future use. By all means, you should help yourselves. I pause again. Did you know I was with this group? I suspected it. If you're worried about whether our little chats led me to you, they didn't. I was going to find the Duke eventually, with or without you. Frustratingly, I need a moment to keep myself together after every reply. Would you have really killed me, given the chance?
Yes.
Yes. It would have made things much easier for me. Then why didn't you aim for a lethal spot when I charged into your camp? That is simple. You already survived being shot at once, and when I saw you charging at me like a madman, I decided the chances are you already knew you weren't going to die here. My thought then was that a non-lethal shot would have a higher chance of not being interrupted by fate. I must admit, my gun not firing was an issue I ranked very low when it came to what might happen to save your life. I take very good care of it, you know. Her logic's about what I had expected from her. Or perhaps I only want to tell myself that I didn't expect anything more. Either way, I am left feeling hollow. Like when they just show the clips and don't provide commentary. How's the injury doing? Her mentioning that pulls me right out of the void I was in. I glare at her, my voice rising in anger. How does it look like it's doing?
I understand.
I am aware that the hand is missing. I meant whether the wound was infected and the like. And knowing that you think it's something you should bring up? I suppose it is in poor taste. I did intend to put you in the right direction of our first aid kit had there been a need. We can find it ourselves. I don't need anything from you.
Don't be too upset, darling.
With technology nowadays, you could get a new hand to replace it in only a few years. It may even be more useful than your old one. Like your eyes? Yes, I can say with certainty I don't miss my original ones. How did you lose your eyes? I got them replaced intentionally. I raised my voice to spite myself. Are you insane? You had your eyes pulled out and replaced with machines when you didn't have to. Correct. If I could have an entirely artificial body, I would, as long as it would be as much an improvement as my eyes have been. Why? What good would keeping it do? There's no reason to hold on to inefficient material when something better is available. That concept doesn't sit well with me, and I become a little nervous over the thought, rubbing my wrist. I'd rather be a person than a machine.
So be it.
Well, that's fine. Just take care of yourself. I don't think I'm as frightened by her as I was. Perhaps this was beneficial after all. Can you recognize or validate the people who watch Wall Cows and see it like documentary footage? Because people are choosing to put their lives in the public eye. I mean, I'm still not, like, it still makes me very uncomfortable. But I mean, it's something I've never really gotten, like celebrity gossip. Like, celebrity gossip is a huge deal. I've never really understood the appeal. Yo, these two people are dating. Good for them. These two people have broken up. Sucks for them. Like, what? Like, I don't understand why people care about all that shit. Like, it's just not something that has ever really... It's entertainment. But it's people's personal lives. Like, it's not just entertainment, though. When people break up, that's their personal lives. You know, it's not... I'd rather follow the lives of fictional characters, because at that point, it's like, it's not... That they put in public? Not deliberately. When two celebrities break up, yes, it goes out in the public, but it's not deliberate. It's because they're being followed around 24 hours a day. It's because there's people stalking them constantly. Trying to get photos of them. Trying to, like, talking to everyone they fucking pass on the street in order to get any gossip possible. Like, it's not... They're not deliberately making it a public thing. It's just... People are obsessed with them, so everything they do automatically becomes celebrity, whether they like it or not. And a lot of them really fucking don't like it. Internet ones? I mean... Even a lot of them... Even those people deserve the right to decide what parts of their lives are public. Like, they still have a right to privacy. Yeah, they're putting their lives out there, but... If there's something they don't want to make public, that's their choice, and people should stop fucking stalking them to find that shit out. I don't know. I'm just more interested in the lives of fictional characters. Like, why is that the... Why am I the weird one for caring more about the lives of fictional characters than real people I don't know? Anyway. Deep speculation. It kind of... It is kind of trying to infringe on their personal lives. Especially when there's people who go out of their way to try to find out whatever they can. Like, Chantel. Before Chantel came over here, she didn't want people to know she was here. What happened? People worked to figure out where she was, to confirm if she was in Canada or not. And, like, that comes from a place of seeing people not as human, but as entertainment. That comes from a place of seeing human beings, of seeing, seeing Chantel, or seeing, other people who that shit's happened to. It comes from seeing them not as human beings, but as entertainment. So I'm not comfortable with seeing real living people, of seeing their personal lives as entertainment. It makes me so uncomfortable, and I just find it so weird. I've never understood that. Even kid growing up, I never watched E.T. or Entertainment Tonight. I didn't watch Entertainment Tonight. I didn't read. I've never read celebrity gossip magazines. I've never understood that idea of seeing the actual people as entertainment rather than the work they do. Anyway. Was that all you wanted to ask, or is there something else? I don't know. I can't understand myself why I had to talk to you.
Well,
It's only natural. When someone hurts you, it can drive you to want to know what kind of person they are, how they could do such a thing, and so on. That's probably why you're still talking to me now. Wonder where Nadia is. Cousin used to date one of the hosts of ET. Heard my aunt drop an N-bomb at a family holiday gathering. Which presumably became a story that he would tell that he would tell people. Your cousin's grandma, or your cousin's aunt, your aunt became part of someone else's story. Well, I'm done talking, and I order you to keep quiet from now on. I understand. She settles back and does as she's told. I decide it's probably best to let the others know she's awake, so I raise my voice and yell. Trinette's awake! I hear Piper's voice calling from the woods. We'll be back soon, just hold on. Killface! Thank you for the gift membership, Killface, and congratulations, Yoda. tried Buttercup yet? If I had the option of doing gift memberships, like if I had the ability to do it, I would give you one, but I'm literally, like, it just literally doesn't even give me the option. No idea why. Thought maybe with fewer people in here, it might be might go to regular. Nah, it is always completely random. Hey, no more hate. Finally, Piper emerges from the bushes and comes over to me. Have you noticed anything with Trinette's henchmen? No, and I've been watching them closely.
You did well.
Thanks, you did well. Piper then walks over to Trinette, pulling out a blindfold and putting it on the bounty hunter. She also pulls out earplugs and plugs Trinette's ears. Trinette doesn't make the least resistance. I suppose it's good that she thinks resisting isn't worth it. It's still a little odd, though. As Piper heads towards the goons with more blindfolds, she speaks up. It's got to be done. We can't let her know what we're planning, and we can't keep knocking her unconscious either. Why not? I mean, yes, CTE, but I don't care. They're the ones who brought this on themselves by attacking innocent people. I'm glad we agree. Plus, these were hers in the first place. If it's good enough for her to use it on someone else, I'm sure it's good enough for her. There. Alright, you guys can come over. These last words were called loudly, and soon January and Key appear with the gadabout in tow. Piper joins them and helps to pull the vehicle all the way into the clearing. Once they have it where they seem to like it, they back away.
We'll get through this.
Alright, now you three need to take charge of the prisoners. I've got to focus on the gadabout. We can manage. No more hate me. Yep. That's not happening. I'm a hater all through and through. Born a hater, gonna die a hater. My last word's gonna be, this sucks! With a wave, Key walks off to retrieve the tools. So, Duke, how are you holding up without your monocle? Oh, I'm surprised you asked. Well enough. I have others at my main house to replace it, and can manage until then. It could be a while until you get back there. I'm not concerned over such a small thing. I'm sure it will be soon enough. Alternatively, if I'm able to return to Meow, I can have one delivered.
That's good.
Now, if you two want, I'll keep watch over the gang, and you can watch the borders of the camp. Hope your last words are, I'm sorry you never received a membership, Buttercup. You gotta hold on to hope, Buttercup. You gotta hold on to the hope. We may as well. Without any more discussion, we both get up and walk off. I take up a position on the opposite side from January. Chocolate lip balm. Nice, nice. Some time has passed, and thankfully I have seen nothing or heard nothing, at least out in the woods. I hear the distinct sounds of someone walking up behind me. I have an idea of who it might be. Hello, Jamie. We're going to have lunch now. I understand.
That means you can come too.
I pull a package from my cloak and keep my face mostly towards the woods. I'll just eat here. Piper is silent for a moment, then she walks around to the side of me. She takes my package and opens it. All right, then. With that, she heads back towards the center of the camp. My eyes drop to the ground, and I stand there waiting for the sound of her footsteps to disappear. Weird. Missing out on a chance to simp. Losing our hand has changed us. I've been watching for the better part of the day. I know because the sun is setting, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to remain focused, at least on keeping watch. I can certainly focus on how unbearable it's become to eat food. Even after all this time, I have yet to finish the package from this afternoon. I try to push my mask up with the stump of my right hand while I eat, but it hardly works. Every time the end of my sleeve gets in the way, or the mask slips back down. Out of frustration, my next attempt is more aggressive, and my mask nearly drops entirely off my head. I hastily move to put it back in place with both my hands, forgetting that I don't have both. For the first moments, I only make things worse. Stifling a scream, I reaffix the mask with just my left hand. My eyes drop to the floor, and I see the handful of food I had to drop out of my remaining hand. Slowing, I reach into my coat to get more. But instead, when my hand reaches the bag, I yank the entire thing out, hurling it on the ground as well. I'm not even hungry anyway. My breathing intensifies, and I look back towards the camp. I can see everyone else is still at their own positions. Nothing seems out of the ordinary anywhere. Hi, Rebecca. Are you saying chocolate lip balm is repressive? I don't know that I'd go quite that far, Rebecca. I don't know that I'd say that chocolate lip balm is repressive. I turn my back on them once more and make another rash movement. I walk further away until I'm within the thicket. I crouch, mostly hidden behind a tree. For some time, I alternate between growling and tugging violently on my hood with my one good hand. After not nearly long enough for me to calm down, I hear rustling. The sounds quickly clarify themselves as someone walking through the thicket. I know I should probably get up and greet them. I don't. I could at least call and make some excuse, but I don't do that either. The footsteps stop right behind where I'm hiding, and still I can't bring myself to get up. It is silent between us. Finally, I can't take it anymore and slam my fist against the ground. Just leave me alone, Piper. The voice that replies surprises me.
My apologies.
I apologize for disturbing you, Jamie. January? Yes, I hope you are not disappointed that it is only me. No, it's fine. I'd rather it was you than someone else. I don't want to see her right now. One tastes like Pepsi Cola and one tastes like Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. It's up to you to discover which is which. Why not? You don't have to answer that. I'm sure she thinks low enough of me already, and I do not want to be reminded of the future or what I've been doing. I hear January move a little closer to where I'm still crouching. I understand. I will not tell the others about your current state of feeling. Good. But I'd still prefer if you left as well.
Certainly.
All right. But may I say one thing before I go? I don't really have more to say, and he takes my silence as an excuse to speak. I... I truly wish to apologize for my earlier behavior. I never should have left the carriage, in either instances. If I hadn't, perhaps... I hear him choke up a little, and he can't continue. If you hadn't come out on your own, Trinette would have forced you to. And if you hadn't come out of the carriage the first time, Key and Piper likely would have retreated to it on their own at some point. They were far outnumbered. Even so, if I had remained at the police station like they had wished, I never would have involved any of you in this catastrophe. It was indefensibly selfish, especially considering I already had reassurance that staying there longer was not going to harm my life regardless. Is the word smoked blocked? If it is, I am not the one who blocked it. South Pole is hickory smoked. I mean, it showed up there. If we had not left immediately, they would have pressed more and more for me to be tested. If I had been found out as real, my sanctuary would have been held accountable, even if it all still worked out for me personally in the end.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. But still. I cut him off. Having to console January when I am the one who has suffered a loss is somewhat irritating. And yet, being frustrated with him is better than thinking of how angry I am at myself. Still what? I have caused nothing but problems for everyone during this entire ordeal. I do not need you to placate me or attempt to discount my responsibility. I would rather your ire be placed upon me than upon yourself. My breath catches in my throat. How do you know I'm angry with anyone at all? Forgive me for overstepping any boundaries, but I have seen it enough in myself to recognize it in others. Gypsy Rose Blanchard had a baby? Good for her. I feel the fingers of my left hand dig into my leg, and my eyes start to sting.
You're wonderful.
You really have done remarkably well. I hope you're aware of that, Jamie. I'd like to see her push her rose toy. Hey, Red Room. How can you say that? I didn't even notice my hand was going to be gone in the future. January comes all the way around in front of me, then crouches down as well. He places long-fingered hands on my knees, smiling gently. Just got a notification that I'm live. Bit delayed. It seems to me you had far more significant things drawing your attention. But if I missed something as significant as that, what else could I have missed? What if what I gave up my life for was all a mistake? I imagine she would think that's a definite possibility. Do you really believe that is possible? No. But if someone had told me I was going to lose my hand, I wouldn't have believed that either. All this time I've been getting caught up on this preposterous scheme, searching for something that might not happen for years, if it happens at all. What was I thinking? I'm surprised any of you are still willing to speak with me. If it is only out of pity, I'd rather you stop this moment. Watching Peterson's interview with Walieva. Ugh, fucking why? Both a couple of fucknuts. I cannot imagine how one could see me in a better light. You all put yourself at risk to protect me, and I've nothing but make that task more difficult. I should have not let what I saw determine my actions either. I can't even see the vision clearly anymore. Every time I try to remember it, I see the moment of Piper saying how she will never take an interest in me, or when I was shot. January pauses, looking thoughtful. If you wish, you could look now, and I will be here to support you. I don't want to know what else I missed. He gives a shaky smile. Are you certain? That vision was what made you happiest. Perhaps all you need is a little reminder. You don't need to do this simply because we're both abnormal. I've never treated... you don't need to do this simply because we're both abnormal. I've never treated you overly well. I confess my initial interest in you was based upon our shared condition.
However,
However,
change.
each day I spend around you makes me like you all the more. And that isn't true for you alone. When I was being held captive and saw you, Piper, and Key appear, it meant a great deal to me. Even if this is merely a job for you and the others, I have never felt happy to see anyone outside of my family household before then. And I never thought I would. That is why I wish to make you happy if I can. I tilt my head up so that I can peer at him through my mask. I just stare for a moment, uncertain. I think I may understand, but I don't need to see the vision again. I feel I will be able to get along well enough without it. January gives me a reassuring smile, looking relieved. I sigh heavily. Still, I have no idea how to face Piper. Part of me wishes to avoid dealing with that situation forever, though that is likely not practical. Yes, perhaps I could do something awkward and draw attention. Then you and Piper could discuss that. What a bro! What a bro! That is the broiest move. Hey, how about I make an ass myself, and then you and your crush can talk shit about me. I'm willing to do that for you, bro. I actually laugh, feeling some relief of my own. I believe you could achieve that. I appreciate the gesture, but I would rather avoid any additional awkwardness. I understand. I start to rise, and January helps me. Once upright, I straighten my mask and dust off my cloak. Then I take a deep breath. I better get back to my job.
Indeed.
I best perform my duties as well. I nudge him slightly with my elbow. Thank you for talking to me, January. Of course, anytime. With a warm smile, he turns and walks off. The sun is finally set, and the darkness closes in around our camp, pushed back only by the fire that's been kept burning in the middle. Everyone is still at their posts. January and me watching the camp, Piper watching Trinette and her goons, and Key repairing the gadabout. There has been one change, however. Not long after I returned to my spot, Lewis trotted over and started clipping the grass near me. Lewis is back! Big Louie! Big Lewis. Big Lou. He's a biggin'. He also discovered the food I had left behind. He made quick work of that. As he's still lingering in the area, I take a moment to pet his neck. I appreciate the company, even though he may only be hoping to find more treats. Then I hear brush being tramped down behind me and turn. I see Key coming towards me. Key is clapping dust from their hands, which blooms out in scattered little clouds in the faint light.
Hi.
Hey. Hello. Is something happening? We need to have a group meeting before the night's over. We're all getting together near the tents. I see. Are you going to get January too? I'm gonna do that now. Alright. My eyes trail over to where Piper is already sitting by the fire. Key notices my hesitation.
So...
If you want, you could come with me to get January. Then we can all go to the camp together. Yes, I'd like that. Then let's go. I follow Key towards the opposite side of camp, and Lewis clops after us. Soon our group is gathered once more, and Key stands to address us.
we'll get through this.
Ahem. First, I just want to thank you all for the great job you've done salvaging the situation. Honestly, I could probably go on and on about it, considering how bad things have gone, but it's not over yet, and there isn't time to congratulate ourselves. I just want to let you know I appreciate it. You're welcome. January smiles softly while Key shakes their head, though I am sure they're smiling under that scarf.
So then.
So, how's the gadabout coming, Key? Nearly finished. I'll have it ready by morning, which brings up the reason I called you. We'll have to stay here one more night. It's too dark to see anything out there, and being out near the thicket is dangerous, especially by yourself. So I want us all to do what we can to stay near the center until the sun rises. Besides that, we've got to decide the sleeping shifts. We'll have 2 people go to bed right after dinner, and the other 2 start the first watch. Do any of you have a shift preference? No one expresses an opinion. Alright, I'll make assignments then. After dinner, Jamie and I will sleep first, while Piper and January will take the first watch.
Are we agreed?
Any objections? That's fine.
Certainly.
I do not have any complaints. I can accept that. Good. And that's all I needed to say. All that's left to do is eat. January reaches over and starts gathering food packages for everyone. You're always the one who gets the food.
Indeed.
Yes, I'm afraid the rest of you can't compete with me in terms of reaching for things. It's the benefit of being a tall drink of water. Has anyone tried Frosty for Vanilla Sprite? Frosty Vanilla, no. I do remember a Vanilla Sprite. I do remember having Vanilla Sprite before. I liked it well enough. As I recall, I liked Vanilla Sprite well enough. Or have I tried Vanilla Coke I definitely tried and liked well enough. Have I tried Vanilla Sprite? I honestly don't remember. You know. Piper smirks as she accepts a package from him. Before handing a package to me, January opens it. Thank you. My voice is quiet, but I hope he hears. He smiles at me and then goes for his own food. Huh. Why did Trinette bother bringing so much food anyways? We've gone through more than 10 packages already. If I had to wager a guess, she probably didn't want to count on catching up to us during the trip. One plan was likely to try following our tracks all the way to January's safe house, and then leaving people to watch there while someone went back to report the location to the rest of the group. Do you think we could talk about something less unfortunate? Alright. I don't have anything else I'd particularly like to talk about. Well, I'm amazed Lewis is still hanging around. Even with that fruit, he still seems to follow us. Yes, he is a well-behaved horse. I wonder how long it's been since he's been around people.
Who knows?
I doubt he was born in the ruins, but considering the state of his mane, it has probably been a few years since anyone owned him. Interesting. I hope he can find someone who can take care of him back in Mier. I don't know about that. He's obviously doing fine out here. We can't know if having an owner would actually be better for him or not. But it would be a lot safer. All the stimulus in the city might stress him out. Besides, there's not much open space there. That's why most people give up their horses in the first place. You like vaping? I hadn't thought about how we were going to part with Lewis soon. Key and January look disappointed about it as well. Piper gives a slight smile.
Don't worry.
I'm sure Lewis will be alright. Silence intrudes once more into our group, and the only sound is the gently crackling fire. After a little while, Key works themselves up a bit.
You know.
Let me tell you, the first thing I'm going to do when I get back to Mier is take the longest nap possible. The first thing I wish to do is have a good meal that is not from a package.
Interesting.
The first thing I'm going to do is change. That can't happen fast enough. January and Key look at me expectantly. I simply pull my hood lower. There's nothing really I'd like to do. January and Key both say, "Oh," in unison. Did still have a few orange sodas left from last week. Picked up a few last time I went grocery shopping. They're nice to have for these gaming streams. When the meal is finished, Key rises to their feet first, as expected.
Night.
Time for bed, at least for two of us. Good night. Not wanting to waste any time, I turn from the others and enter one of the tents. I can tell Key is entering a tent as well by the fabric rustling sounds from nearby. They also take a moment to speak up once more. Good night. Be sure to get me if something happens. Nothing like a good bath after losing your hand and all. I do what I can to settle in quietly. It actually feels strange to not be sleeping in the carriage. Though, it strikes me that I had slept in a tent already. I'd been so exhausted then that I didn't have time to think about the situation. I lie awake, forcing my eyes shut for a while as my mind continues to wander to odd thoughts. Eventually I hear voices. January and Piper must be having a conversation. Eavesdrop! We gotta eavesdrop, right? We need to eavesdrop on the conversation. I know I should be. Oh, eavesdropper achievement. It's not your fault they talked loud enough to be listened in on. Literally just got an achievement for that. The eavesdropper achievement. It's not your fault they talked loud enough to be listened in on. That's funny. I know I should be resting, but I am not able. And since the sounds will distract me either way, I may as well hear what they are. I position myself so that my head is by the tent door where I can make out the discussion. Just before sunset. So shall we wait until later to attend to them again?
Seems like it.
Probably. Oh. You sound disappointed by that.
Well,
I would prefer not to have the food and water be left until the next shift. Yes, that makes sense. It doesn't have to be done until morning when everyone is up. That would be good. Thank you. It goes quiet between them for a little bit. Though right before I move back to my original position, January restarts the conversation. So, how are you feeling? Piper laughs softly. About what? Anything, really? In general? A little uneasy.
honestly,
Is that so? I had no idea. Have you ever been able to pick up on how I'm feeling? No, I don't believe I have. What about you? How are you feeling? I feel conflicted. In what way? I almost wish to feel pleased and optimistic again, but that seems deeply inconsiderate and somewhat premature. No need to worry about me, however. I am quite well overall. It's quiet once more. Would you care to tell stories again to pass the time? I'm used to sitting in silence for long periods of time. I see. We can tell stories, Duke, but you start. I shall think of something. I'm not able to listen to their stories. Their words soon jumble together as sleep comes to claim me, and before long I hear no more. And just like that, my time to watch arrives. Groggily, I start to wake and crawl out of the tent. When I get outside, I say good morning to the group. As my vision focuses, I see Key standing before me, looking energetic.
Hey.
Time for a watch. I do my best to perk up, nodding. January greets me as well, with a slightly apologetic look on his face. Pardon me, but Piper has taken the other tent. May I use this one? Key and I promptly move aside to let him in. Good night, January. Get some rest. January nods to us gratefully, then disappears inside. Well, we better get comfortable. We're going to be here a while. Yes. We both head towards the fire and take seats near it. I sit next to Lewis, who is lying down asleep. But don't get too comfortable. That won't be a problem. There's no way that's going to happen with Trinette right next to me. He instantly slaps their side of their head, and then seems to quietly berate themselves for having such a strong reaction. They slowly pull their hand down from their face and look at me shyly. Sorry, I meant that as a joke. You know, because sometimes I do that thing where I say something and then say not to do it that much, and you people give me a hard time about it. I actually do chuckle slightly, though mostly because of the face they're making right now. That is a joke worthy of January. That's why I don't even try. And that is probably for the best. Key rolls her eyes, but hasn't lost that hint of regret for bringing that up. So, are you really okay? Yes. Alright, but tell me if it gets too much for you. I will. Key scratches where they slap themselves and looks a little more comfortable. Can I ask you something?
It's fine.
Sure. If it wasn't illegal, would you look into your future? What? I want to know if issues of legality are the only things keeping you from looking into your future. Key folds her arms and gently tips her head from side to side. I am aware they are seriously considering the question, but the motion looks anything but serious. I would be tempted, probably. Still, I don't know if I'm brave enough to look, though. Why do you ask? I was thinking of my own reasons for looking. Despite all the warnings I received, I'm not sure I really understood the possible consequences. I was just so sure I needed to look. The act was all that mattered. Why was it so important? At the time, I felt I needed it to be complete. Or maybe I just wanted to focus on something to focus on besides my current situation.
Oh?
Do you still feel that way? No, I don't want to focus on the future at all. It doesn't have the same appeal anymore. In fact, I feel that maybe no one should look into their future. That's kind of an extreme change. True, but it seems clear that it is a selfish endeavor. Can you imagine what the world would be like if everyone saw their future? Not really. Could have some benefits, though. People could be more prepared for natural disasters, you know. You do not need to try to defend the practice. You, of all people, should be grateful for one more person who does not want future seeing done. Yeah, that's kind of a hard thing to get around. But you shouldn't hate your own power. Normal laws are the way they are because we're normal. If everybody had an abnormal power, things would be different. I'm going to change my answer. Even if it wasn't illegal, I'd do it. And if I knew my future, I'd be able to live my life more peaceful. Or if it wasn't illegal, I'd do it. And if I knew my future, I'd be able to live my life more peacefully. Even if it wasn't great, at least I'd know what to expect and when. That'd be pretty great for someone like me who's got a pretty dangerous job. So, there. It's a fine thing to do as long as the person can accept the outcome. Thank you for telling me your view, Key?
Don't worry.
It's nothing. The conversation fades and Key leans back. Wish I could work on the gadabout. Why don't you? I can watch alone, and getting that fixed is important. It's too dark. I need a lot of light to do the detail work. Key rubs their eyes with the palms of their hands. How do you know so much about fixing gadabouts? I've always liked tinkering with mechanical things. Helps me relax. Then why aren't you a mechanic? It wasn't really an option. Besides, I've known for a long time that being a police officer is what I've really wanted to do. I see. We continue to chat in this way as the night wears on. Before our shift together is over, the sun has risen. We had an early breakfast and I replaced the package stored in my cloak pocket. Key added more to their own as well. After that, Key went to work on the gadabout, though they take frequent breaks to come check on me. Once again, I hear the sounds of their footsteps approaching as I keep an eye on the hostages.
Hey.
Hey, I'm gonna wake those other two up. I see. Don't worry about it. I casually pick up a rock and throw it into January's tent. The intrusion makes him curl up like a caterpillar and mumble something. I can't help snickering at the sight, and I see Key shaking their head, clearly trying to hide their own amusement. January crawls out of the tent, yawning loudly. Good morning. He doesn't sound totally awake, speaking blandly. Are you all right? Give me a moment. He rubs his eyes for longer than would seem necessary, then trots over to us. When next he speaks, he sounds like his usual self.
Good morning.
Key and I both return his pleasant greeting. Was everything all right last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problems. Well, that's good. I'm surprised Piper isn't up. I expected her to arise before me. I can get her. Key picks up a rock of their own and tosses it into Piper's tent. January stifles a laugh as Piper rolls over. She climbs out of the tent in a moment and joins us.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, everyone. January and Key both reply. I hesitate, watching her. Good morning, Piper. So, I can't sleep just yet. I've got a little more to do. Are you sure you will be fine?
Don't worry.
Don't worry about me. It's not like the rest of you are getting that much sleep either. Anyway, if one of the prisoners wakes up, let me know. I've got it. Very well. That's all then. Good night. And Key strides off back to the gadabout. There is confidence in their steps, but that can't completely hide the sluggishness of them. Take care, Key. I feel somewhat guilty being the only one about to sleep, but I know that there is no need for me to put it off. Good night. Both January and Piper say good night, and I crawl into my tent to sleep. Sleep comes far more easily than last night. I rest for an uncertain amount of time until I hear strange sounds coming from outside. I rouse myself with difficulty and peer through the open flap of the tent. Key is rushing full speed back into the center of the camp. Rapidly filling with concern, I pull myself out of the tent to see what's happening. There is no need to ask for an explanation, as simply seeing a larger view of our camp gives me enough information on the problem. There is an elaborately dressed young lady pulling her ribbon out of a branch as she does her best to make it through the thicket and into the clearing. Why she is dressed that way is the least of my concerns. She walks right over towards us, looking around as if searching for something. Before reaching us fully, Key leans towards me and the others, intending to whisper something. However, the intruder cuts him off with a loud greeting.
Hello there.
Hello there, excuse me. Key stiffens and stands at attention as the young woman singles her focus on our group and trots over, looking like she's happy to be out of the bramble. Hello again. We're all uncomfortable with the situation, but Piper ventures a response. Hello to you too. Oh, you said something. That's great. My name is Felicity. What are your names?
What?
My name's Key, but who cares about any of that right now? What are you doing in the middle of the ruins? That is an outfit. That is definitely an outfit. I mean, I kind of like it. Nice ruffles on the skirt. Who doesn't like a good ruffle? Well, you see, I wasn't supposed to come out all this way, except my friend who was going to meet me never showed up. What else can a person do in that situation but go searching? Your friend. That's right. As Felicity is speaking, I hear noises coming from the woods and look towards the sound. Others are emerging from the shadows of woods, and they aren't strangers. They're the ones who tipped over the carriage. They're bandits. She's a bandit. I truly thought we were going to be safe from now on, but we've been trapped. I am not the only one who noticed that we're being surrounded, and we all instinctively draw closer together. As we do, Felicity walks past us quite casually, and what she does drives me to take a few more steps back. She unties Trinette. I'd very much like to know why this is happening, but I'm too hysteric to think properly. Once free, Trinette rises to her feet and wastes no time. She walks directly over to our little defensive circle and extends her hand towards Key. Be a dear and hand it over, would you? Key is practically vibrating with anger, but sighs in defeat. They pull Trinette's gun out of their coat pocket, handing it towards its true owner.
Thank you for holding on to it for me.
Key balls their fists and quietly admonishes themselves. I should have crushed it. Piper is likewise blaming herself, rubbing her eyes with great frustration.
Why didn't I expect this?
Why did I think she wouldn't have enough time to create a backup party? Why didn't I make us move from her camp? Hey, Nova. Something my Zetter would wear? They shouldn't have to be in a situation like this. Before I can think better of it, I start a conversation with this bandit woman. Why are you helping Trinette? She looks somewhat surprised to be addressed, but please seems to be the main response.
Why not?
She asked, and it sounded good enough to me. There aren't that many opportunities to make some cash out of this dreary boskage. All of us hardly look impressed by this response.
I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not.
I'm afraid explaining the details of how we came together is not a topic worth expanding upon. I'm sure you understand. Trinette takes a moment to inspect her gun, eventually opening the part where the bullets go in. Discovering the empty casing seems to shake her deeply. It passes quickly, however, and she snaps the weapon closed again. Trinette's eyes then move off to the side, as if seeing something behind me, but I don't dare look away from her for even a moment. The friendly horse Lewis has to go. Right now.
Lovely.
How lovely! How lovely! They have a real horse. It looks pretty. But why is Lewis so important? He's not tied down, therefore he could get in the way. It will be safer for everyone if he's out of the area. I see. A few of you need to lead him to the edge of the woods and then encourage him to start running. With that command, one of her own men, recently freed by the bandits, and a few others do as... a few of you need him to lead him to the edge of the woods and then encourage him to start running. With that command, one of her own men, recently freed by the bandits, and a few others do as they are told, and ease Lewis closer to the camp's edge. Once they're at the edge of the camp, one of the bandits strikes Lewis sharply in the back, giving a loud shout. Lewis whinnies in alarm and sprints off out of sight. Follow him for a bit to make sure he's truly gone. Thank you. At least she didn't ask them to kill the horse, you know? In that case, blue-haired and one of you guys should go. Teamwork is crucial, you know? The blue-haired goon steps closer to the tree line, and a single bandit is elected to go by the other few over there. The two then rush off to tail our horse. I wish you well, Lewis.
Good.
So, the Duke is the only one we need. The others will have to be dealt with. I feel as though all the air is being pulled from my body with each word. Despite my fear intensifying, I put on a brave face for no one other than myself. Before Felicity can respond, January steps to the front of our circle.
I won't.
Excuse me, but if you harm them, I shall become as onerous to you as possible. I will not move willingly. I will neither eat nor drink. I shall resist your attempts to bind or hold me with violence, and I will ensure anyone you attempt to turn me over to knows you are distinctly to blame for my uncooperative attitude. Oh, January, I feel a stinging at the corners of my eyes. If only I could have done more. Felicity actually smiles.
That's nice.
That's very sweet. Though, sometimes you've got to rough people up. If it helps, I think actually killing them would be distasteful. Trinette's feelings on January's declaration are indecipherable, as expected.
I understand.
Tie them up. The bandits waste no time, and in a few minutes we're all tightly restrained. Since it seems everyone wants to do this in a peaceful manner, how about a nice stroll together? I have an idea I think all of us can accept. Fantastic! That is why I like you, Trin. You know what? I ship him. I ship it. She'd also wear what Trinette has on. Don't know about the pantaloons here. Like, whatever those are, the pink pantaloons that Trinette has on. Don't know about those, but the rest of the outfit, yeah. Yeah, I mean the rest of Trinette's outfit, aside from those weird shorts things, I would say that Trinette's outfit is pretty fetch. I cannot fathom why we'd need to go elsewhere. However, I will gladly go wherever she wants if it means no harm will come to any of us. Could be a skater skirt? Yeah. Having to carry each of you would slow us down, so you'll get to walk on your own. Try not to make me change my mind, alright, darlings? She turns to the bandits. One of you grab more rope, please. She then leads us towards the edge of the forest. Felicity follows close behind, waving at us. The bandits begin to push me and the others, and we glance at each other in concern as we are led away. As we move out of the camp, Trinette takes possession alongside her group rather than remaining at the front. She wants to see what we do, I assume. Felicity's on the opposite side, trekking along rather merrily. I must say, Trin, I'm having trouble imagining how you got caught by these people. Do not take that as a complaint, however. After all, if it wasn't for that, you might have skipped town with the Duke and left me out of the whole deal. Then the only thing we wouldn't have gone was that radio you lent us. Would have gone? Speaking of which, that radio happened to break, so I can't return it. I always keep my deals. An untrustworthy bounty hunter isn't good for many types of jobs.
So be it.
And that's fine about the radio. I wasn't expecting to get it back. Well, that certainly is nice for you. My circles are nothing like that. You can't really trust anyone. I learned a long ways ago. Back when I was only 6 years old, in fact. I am aware of enough of your history, Felicity. But they don't know anything! I turn my head slightly towards Felicity, but not enough to be noticeable. Does she mean us? Her hostages? Yes, you four. I had to run away from home when I was merely 6. Hard to believe, I know, but it's the truth. I've been surviving all on my own ever since. What else could you expect a 6-year-old to do in a cold, hard city except steal? It's not like I could get a job. I mean, I suppose I could have found a job when I got a little older, but when stealing is what you know, it is difficult to tell yourself it isn't something you should do anymore. Besides, by that point, I'd gotten good at it. I mean, really good. I was so good I could snatch the watch off someone's wrist and be long gone before they even noticed. I was so good that it wasn't long before the biggest crime syndicate in Mier was practically begging on my doorstep for me to join them. I did work with them for a while, but quit. You could say I wasn't interested in how many rules there were for a bunch of lawbreakers. That's why I'm out here, in case you were wondering. I'm waiting for the drama of me leaving the group to die down for a while. I look at Felicity askance. She certainly seems pleased with that story. Far be it from me to determine what is feasible in normal society or not, but based on the looks of everyone else, I am assuming embellishments were likely made. I mean, you gotta embellish if you're gonna tell a good story. The best stories need lies. However much of her story is true, her flippant attitude is really unwelcome, especially considering the firmly serious situation. I don't know, I think it's pleasant. She's trying to keep our spirits up. She's making conversation, trying to keep everyone feeling cheerful. She's a good hostage taker. She's a solid hostage taker. I appreciate her. Soon we're out of the forest. What is there before us, instead of seemingly endless trees, is a seemingly endless sky. A powerful wind flutters my cloak, and the nerves I tried to choke down resurface. Trinette scans the ragged edge of Earth, unperturbed by being a few steps away from a fatal drop. Coming here was no mistake. Wow, nice view! Trinette then points at a mostly collapsed pillar while turning back to the rest of us again.
Thank you.
I need you to tie the 3 we don't need out on that column. Thank you. January is held in place as the others and I are carefully led to the outcrop, placed up against it, and bound with the extra rope. From my spot on the side of the rock, I can see over the edge and down. Even on such a clear day, it's so high I can't make out anything on the surface. Now, this might seem a little unfair because you cooperated as you should have. However, I feel my group needs a pinch more precaution. I'm intending to have them knocked unconscious.
You...
That's hurting them. True, but if they are awake, they will plan to take you back. And if they show up, I can't trust you to continue to behave. I think you should be a little more accommodating based on that. Remember, you were knocked out by us only a couple days ago. Was it truly the end of the world? Looking apologetic, January concedes that there is likely no way to avoid that stipulation. If it must be done, do it.
You have my appreciation.
Alright, I can help with that. Before I can wonder how, Felicity pulls out something I've never seen before. It is a solid piece of metal with holes through the middle. She puts it over her fingers and approaches. She pulls her arm back and thrusts her fist down full force over Piper's head, and then keys. I turn away as Felicity comes for me, and feel the blow land against the side of my skull. I am dizzy, my head is throbbing. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. That's enough! You can't be intending to have them struck more than once.
Yes.
I was, yes. If you remember, one hit was all it took for me, and I can only be so accommodating. I stifle a whimper as I try to pretend as though I am no longer awake. Felicity shakes me briefly, and I give no resistance.
Are we doing this again or not?
I can't exactly tell if they're really out cold or just faking.
Certainly not.
Do not! Alright. Come back, Felicity. With the sounds of footsteps, I gradually force my eyes open. Thankfully, with my mask, it doesn't matter if my eyes are open or closed. No one can see them either way. Watching is all I can do, however. I sit there uselessly as Trinette comes closer holding a large, heavy stick. I involuntarily wince thinking about what she intends to do with it. Perhaps this is revenge for what we did to her. She is within arm's reach of us when she raises the stick high and jams it into the earth. She yanks it out, displacing as much dirt as possible, as it looks like, then repeats the process a few more times. I start to get a sinking feeling in my stomach. After the 5th strike, the ground around the pillar shudders. Trinette uses the stick to push against the craggy line she's made in the dirt, and after a little effort, the earth starts to fall away. With a sickening lurch, the section of landward tide begins breaking away from the main land fraction. The free chunk of earth dips down, and I barely manage to stop myself from screaming. For a brief moment, it tips completely forward, and I am again looking at the far, far away surface. I never thought I would be grateful to be restrained, but I am deeply grateful for it. After that moment of terror, the newly independent fraction starts to regain its proper position, until we are even with January and the others again. It isn't completely over, however, as Trinette reaches out with that stick, and pushes our land fraction further away, much too far for anyone to jump across. She gives a slight smile and tosses the stick right off the edge.
Cooperate, okay?
We know you don't want anything bad to happen to your friends, Duke. This scene must be unfortunate for you, but if I hadn't done this, I would have had to kill them. More importantly, when we arrive at my HQ, I will call the police or whoever you wish to come get them. So, now all of us should be in agreement that we need to get out of these ruins. And since I mentioned the police, don't bother hoping they'll come out on their own. You see, after you'd been out of sight for a couple days, an unlucky rumor was spread saying you were hiding in the police station. The whole place is besieged. The bounty was even raised to try and get this whole affair over with as quickly as possible. Which means I don't think the police will be available to come searching anytime soon. January gives her a cool expression, which is amazing considering the circumstances.
Huh.
Very well. However, I refuse to be rendered unconscious, and I will not stand for you or Miss Felicity leaving any guards behind. Do forgive me for mistrusting your word, but the chance for you to hurt or even kill my friends once I am not around to see it is unacceptable. That doesn't bother me. The more on the trip back, the merrier. Trinette gives January a faint smile. Understood. We'll do it your way, Duke. I want every large stone near here thrown off the fraction. See, we wouldn't want anything for them to lasso onto if they somehow got untied. I'm sure that's acceptable with you, right? January rolls his eyes without responding. Also, since it's just you now, I'm going to have you be carried the rest of the way. I will accept that, if I remain facing my companions to ensure that you do not attempt to sneak around while my back is turned. Fine.
Fine.
Then fine. Yes, fine! Their negotiation seemingly finished, January looks indignant and waits while the bandits continue their work clearing the ground around the loose fraction. It is so odd. Only a few days ago he would have been making that face because he was told to return to the carriage. And now... After they're done, two bandits walk over and begin to work out carrying January. It takes them a while, as January is especially particular about it. Eventually, they get him slung over the shoulders of one in a way that satisfies him. The other bandit stands in front of the other and holds January's ample legs off the ground. As promised, he is still facing us while everyone else has their backs turned in order to walk away. I see him mouth the word sorry as the other group begins to march forward. Just then, the whole fraction we're tied to begins to glow. Bit by bit, it drifts closer towards the main body of the land. Eventually, the distance between him and his target becomes too great, and we are again stranded in the air. He really doesn't know how to contain himself, does he? Surprised, I looked over and see Piper wide awake. Beside her, Key groans and stirs in the restraints. If anyone had seen that, it would have been a disaster. And even as it is, that gap is still too far to risk a jump. My eyes move their way back towards the unreachable other edge. I sigh. Piper sighs too. I don't know how I missed this possibility. Taking Trinette in her own camp should have been a warning sign. She's never been one to rely on a gun alone to get a job done. You can't blame yourself. It was my idea to stay together. If Key or you had gone ahead, we might have been able to get help by now. All we would have done is walk right into the bandits. Besides, what help could we get? I doubt Trinette was lying about the police station. Sending other bounty hunters on a distraction journey was something I had expected all along. I hang my head solemnly, just in time to see the rope securing us to the rock fall loose. I jerk my head up and see Key backing up before sprinting towards the edge. Piper tries to call out, but I clap my hand over her mouth. We don't need the others to hear us now. Key kicks himself off the edge itself and hurtles through the air. Piper and I both rise up as Key begins to lose height. Over the edge, I see Key's hat slowly drifting down. Key, however, was just able to grab the main fraction as desperately digging their fingers into the ground. Gah! I feel Piper relax, and I let my hand drop. Key is able to scramble up, which causes more dirt and rock to crumble down into the air below. Key practically throws themselves away from the edge. They lay on their back with their hands over their eyes as they try to breathe. Hitting on the ledge the way they did may have knocked the wind out of them. You need a skater skirt, Vanna? They are cute. What a pain in my ass. Their moment of rest is brief, and Key wobbly stands up and dusts themselves off. Key turns towards us and holds out their hands. Piper and I need no further explanation. I see Piper has already worked herself free of her own bonds, and she quickly looses me. Next, I start coiling up the long rope that was tied to the rock, while Piper makes it longer by knotting together the ropes used to tie us directly. Once we've got it all, she takes the one end and secures it to a small stone. Piper throws the tied-off end over to Key, who catches the rock with a little wince. I wrap the remaining rope end around the pillar again. With Piper's assistance, I get the rope fully secured on our side. Key wraps the rope around their back, then starts walking backwards, pulling as hard as they can. Slowly, the small fraction we're on drifts closer to the main fraction. By the time Key stops, gasping for breath, it's so close Piper and I can just step over the gap. Key lets themselves fall to the ground, leaning back on the palms of their hands. Without a word, I crouch down to be at Key's level and wrap my arms around them. I'm just so relieved we're on the other side and that they're okay. Good work, Key. They freeze up a bit, obviously not expecting it. Piper also comes over and pats Key's back.
You did well.
Who would have thought that all three of you would be crazy risk takers? Maybe from now on we need a signal for when someone is about to do something reckless. Key laughs and I feel them loosen up a bit. Should we raise our hands first or something? That's certainly something. Something indeed. I finally pull away from Key. So, what's the plan? I've got an idea, but we need to find Lewis first. We both nod in response, and Piper offers both of us a hand to help us up. Now standing, Key nods back, looking confident despite all that's happened.
We'll get through this.
Alright, then let's get January back. Again. As silently as we can, we backtrack through the forest until we once again enter the clearing that lies just beyond Trinette's camp. Key lifts a hand to stop us, then speaks in whispers.
I'll take care of it.
Let me look ahead and see what they're up to. My outfit is the least likely to get caught on something. Piper and I soundlessly signal our agreement, and Key slips into the brush. When we were on the move, I could fully keep my focus. Now that we've arrived, I find it far more difficult to keep my breathing under control. Luckily, Key returns in almost no time, seeming pleased. They're all still in camp, but they're packing up fast. We've got to find Lewis. Is everyone going, or should someone stay behind? Probably. Keeping an eye on them would be for the best.
What do you think?
Then who should stay? I can do it. Alright. Do we stay, or do we go look for Lewis? Should we stay, or should we go? You've got to let me know. Should we stay? Or should we go? Should I stay or should I go now? If I go, there will be trouble. If I stay, it will be double. So come on and let me know. Should I stay or should I go? That is a very good song. I suppose it does make sense for Key to stay, just because, like, they can make a decision about what to do with anything if the situation changes. If the situation changes while I'm watching, I'm like, well. Alright, let's go again. Then you two better go. Check the field where we first found him. It wasn't too far from here, and it'd make some sense if he returned home after getting chased away.
Got it.
We'll be back soon, okay? Be safe, Key.
Be careful.
Same to you. With nothing else to say, Piper and I make way further into the forest. Our pace is brisk and full of urgency. Finally, the trees open wide, revealing our destination. I think we should stick together. There aren't a lot of places to hide here, so if he is around, we should be able to spot him without going separate ways. That makes sense. We should get closer to some of the herds.
True.
Agreed. We inch our way into the vast expanse of the field, trying to be as non-threatening as possible. At the same time, I carefully look at the face and markings of each horse within my view. All at once, I stop moving entirely. Piper suddenly grasps hold of my arm, and I can tell that she sees it too. Lewis is here. He's lazily clipping the grass together with a group of other horses. Without waiting for her, I run out towards him, calling his name. I hear Piper gasp behind me, but I don't stop. Lewis looks up at my call, and while the other horses scurry away, he comes towards me. I don't stop running until I reach him, and I gently pat his nose. I am glad to see you, Lewis. Piper joins our reunion, looking a bit shook up. After everything that happened, running and yelling at him was quite a daring choice. He trusts us, and I knew he trusts us. You wouldn't run from me, but you would run from the bandits. He's the same.
You did well.
You're right. I should probably be directing that at myself. After everything that happened, I should know that everyone in this group is pretty reliable. Yes. Okay, now let me help you up. We can ride Lewis for part of the way. I comply, and Piper gives me a boost onto Lewis' back, then lifts herself up. Together, we start riding towards the thicket. As we get closer, Piper has us dismount. From that point on, we lead Lewis by hand until we arrive at the camp. Key is nowhere to be seen when we first arrive. Key. I keep my call quiet, but it works. Key soon emerges from the brush. It is hard to tell what they are more relieved about, us returning safely, or the sight of Lewis in tow. Welcome back. You did good. We did, didn't we? What is the next step? Basically, I was thinking of riding through camp, grabbing January, and riding away.
Interesting.
That's it? Yeah, pretty much. They'll likely never leave January alone enough for us to stand a chance in a normal fight. And Lewis should be too big for them to really do much in such little time. Plus, I don't think there will be many volunteers ready to risk being brutally crushed by a massive horse. It should be okay as long as Trinette doesn't have extra bullets. If she does, well, it could be bad. Still, last time she chose to let the three of us go rather than put Lewis down, so it seems fair to imagine she doesn't have a massive supply. I don't want to put you guys in any more danger, but I don't think we have a lot of options. I am okay with that. Piper smiles slightly. Why not? Key gives us a smile. Doesn't matter if their mouth is covered, we know.
Thank you.
Hopefully luck is on our side this time. I take a deep breath, steadying myself to face her again. We must hurry. They can't be staying for much longer. Solemnly, Key and Piper nod. Clinging on for dear life, I wait as Key gets Lewis into position for our charge. From where we're standing, I can see into the camp and spot Trinette and Felicity. Felicity is gesturing and isn't bothering to keep her voice down again.
So, how do you get your hair like that?
She does have really good hair. Trinette has gorgeous hair. Like, say what you will about Trinette, her hair game, on point. Trinette ignores her, instead focusing out towards us. Can she see us? I see her frown and shake her head slightly. Why won't you talk to me? And what are you looking at?
Let's go.
She sees us. Time to go. Key nods and whips Lewis into motion. Just as we begin to charge, I hear Trinette speak as she nonchalantly sidesteps out of our path.
Just try not to get trampled.
Breathlessly, I hold onto both Key and Piper with different arms as we careen through Trinette's camp. January quickly stands, having released himself from the bonds restraining his legs. Reaching down, Key wraps her arms around January's torso and yanks him up off the ground. January is able to get his now free leg up over Lewis's backside, which is enough for Key to help him get fully situated on Lewis. Without stopping, we race out of the camp, keeping a breakneck speed all the way. I'm not sure how long we run for, but by the time we stop, Lewis is panting, and sweat almost like foam has appeared on his legs and shoulders. Piper, looking more relieved than I've ever seen her, loosens her grip on Lewis' mane. In turn, Key and I start holding on a little less tightly as well. That was not an ideal choice, as January, with still restrained wrists, starts to slip off without Key's support. They quickly latch onto him again while apologizing profusely. January starts laughing.
Incredible!
It is nothing. I am fine. Well and truly fine. Looking abashed, Key moves on to a new topic.
So,
Do you think they saw what you did with the ropes on your legs back there? At that reminder, the remaining ropes on January's wrists begin to glow and untie themselves. Doubtful. I untied them whilst they were squarely looking at you all. Even if they had enough time to realize my ropes were undone, they should have no way of putting together how I had gotten free. That seems to satisfy Key, and they slide off of Lewis with a nod. Piper joins Key on the ground momentarily. Key reaches up and offers me a hand, which I gratefully accept. Once we're all down, we nearly collapse. Key flops on their back completely, lying flat and covering their eyes with their hands. Now what? Isn't that your job? Oh yeah. And Key sits back up. Do you still have those food packages, Key? Of course. Then it wouldn't be a bad idea to stop for lunch, I think.
great.
Ha, sure. It is just Peachy we're going to have to use them after all. Key starts pulling the packages out and distributing them among us. I pull out the single food package I had in the cloak, only to set it aside immediately. I walk over to January and do my best to pick up the rope he loosed himself from into my now empty pocket. Why are you gathering those? They may come in handy, and I have the room. You know, January, I am really glad you're back. January smiles at me while reaching over to help stuff the last bit away.
I am glad.
And I'm glad to be back. Hopefully this will be the last time we're separated. That would be ideal. I found it tends to be rather miserable when you're gone. With the task finished, I reach over to reclaim my meal. Before I take hold of it, the package glows and opens up. I chuckle. Ha! You have become something of a show-off with that. January laughs with me. I suppose I have. When I go back over, Piper walks to me after getting her own food package. She's rubbing the back of her neck, looking a little uncomfortable.
How are you?
You need some help, Jamie? With what? Well, I noticed at another time that you had some trouble eating. I feel like I should say something, but can't think of what, so I just stay silent. January looks concerned, then turns to me.
Perhaps.
Yes, perhaps I could hold your mask up for you, Jamie. I assure you I will not look. There's no need to go to the trouble. It is no trouble. In fact, I have a better idea. He pours the contents of his food package onto his lap, then, using his power, levitates my food package up to the level of my face. There, now you may eat without risk of being seen. January. Piper smiles a little at us.
Looks like you're taken care of.
I won't get in the way. Oh, I think Piper wanted to help. She walks off and sits by Key. January shifts around a bit. Is it alright if I touch your mask? If you insist. He looks glad, then reaches over to lift the bottom of my mask slightly, turning his head away.
Maybe.
Maybe I should hold the bag? I'm not sure we should rely on just your multitasking abilities. January laughs good-naturedly. Now that isn't very nice, Key. Key gets up to join us too. I really don't need all this help. Too late. Key snatches the floating package and January lets his power fade. With it seemingly decided, Key takes a seat by me. Fine. Good. I see January smile out of the corner of my eye. It is embarrassing and frustrating, but it also means a great deal that they are here for me in this way. For once in the past couple days, I am able to eat with relative ease. We spend the meal in a comfortable silence. Alright, now that we're all comfortable, we should plan our next move. We've got to change course back to January's place. Only we know where it is. If we go towards the city, we could walk into a trap or ambush along the trail. January and Piper nod in support of my idea. Can't argue with that. Even if we could reach me, I would be swarming with bounty hunters. According to Trinette, anyways.
Now.
Safe as it is, that's our final plan. This time we're really going to make it. And I also think we should head back to where the carriage is wrecked. We'll need more food to finish the trip. Again, no one objects.
All right then.
Speaking of supplies, I noticed that there's a brook right over there. We can get some water before we go. This might be a little late to ask, but are there possible consequences for drinking the water out in the ruins? Nah, it's not like the water on the surface. Up here it gets purified naturally. That is good to know. I'm going to get a drink if no one minds. I'll go with you. A drink would certainly be welcome right now. I stand up and start dusting off my cloak off when Key turns to me. Hey. Hello. Key leans in a bit closer.
You alright?
How's your arm? It's alright. That's good, that's good. Once we get back to the carriage, we can see if there's anything else we could use for it, like painkillers or more bandages. This is a topic I would rather forget about, but I suppose that's not really a possibility. Thank you for the consideration.
Stay safe.
It's nothing. I just want to make sure you're taken care of. I playfully nudged them. Remember to share some of that with yourself. I will. We should probably get some water now, huh? Yes. Man, I have no idea how much is left of the game. It's been a long time since I played the game, so I've forgotten a lot about it. So I don't actually remember, like, if there's much left. But apparently I lied slightly in the description. Gonna say you would know more than us. Like I said, it's been... When did the game come out? Yeah, a game came out in 2017. I played it at that point. So it's been 7 years since I played it. You're enjoying watching? Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, I played the game 7 years ago once. So, like, there were, like, a couple of things, like, there were, like, a couple of, like, little things I remembered. I remember that somebody lost an arm. Couldn't remember who. I forgot it was even... I even forgot it was the main character who loses their hand. You didn't have a great audience then? Yeah, just myself. Only audience was me. And, like, I remembered the general plot. But yeah. I think we are close enough that I'll be able to finish now. I'm pretty sure next week I will finish. It's not worth it if we aren't there too. True. I will say, like, playing video games to my channel has, like, it is weird playing video games for myself now. Next week? Yeah. Like, whenever I was, like, I never finished Cyberpunk, but when I was, like, playing Cyberpunk, it was so weird just playing that, like, just not doing commentary for it. We were supposed to finish with the narrative. Yeah, I totally forgot about the whole thing with the bandits. I totally forgot about the whole thing with us getting captured again. Sorry. At some point, I do. At some point, I'm probably going to, like, play Mass Effect again just for myself. And I expect that to be really fucking weird. Liar. I did lie. I'm sorry for being a liar. I'm sorry that I'm a dirty, rotten liar. I won't blame you if y'all hate me now. I won't blame you all for hating me. Never watching me again. What are you guys now? Do I play them? Lately a lot of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And that one is not weird to play without an audience. Or like Dynasty Warriors. You know, I played a lot of Dynasty Warriors recently, and again, that one's not weird to play without an audience. Because, like, Romance of the Three Kingdoms or Dynasty Warriors, those games take me back to being, like, a teenager. Like, those games take me back, like, way back to when I used to play them. Deplatform this man. Unsubscribing. Yeah. But like I said, whenever I played Cyberpunk, I suppose that is sort of the main one. Because, like, I want to, like, I sort of want to provide commentary. Like, whenever I'm playing some games, I just sort of want to start providing doing commentary. It's warped me. This playing video games on YouTube has fucking warped my brain. I wonder if it's the same for other people who do Let's Plays. Like, do you think other Let's Players, like, put on a game just for fun and, like, they're playing along and doing commentary as they go? I'm like, who the fuck am I talking to right now? Anyway. That's tonight done. Couldn't we would never know. Just in your room talking to yourself. I know. Yeah. That's it for tonight. I'm pretty confident we'll finish this next week. Like, 95% confident that we'll finish this next week. There can't be that much more left. What, January gets taken by Trinette a third time? Come on. Like, probably one last... Hasn't been 2 hours? Yeah, it's 2 hours now. Like, probably, like, one last confrontation with Trinette and the bandits. Talk to us for the rest of the time. No, it's 2 hours now. Like, I honestly don't know if there's another confrontation with Trinette or anything, but I would think so. Because she's kind of still just a dangling plot thread, I guess. But I would imagine next week will be the finale. So, until then, thanks for watching. And good night, everybody. You're sick? Yeah, Scapegoat, that's true. Scapegoat needs to get some rest. Scapegoat needs sleep. So, I need to let Scapegoat get some rest. So, good night, everybody.